Good morning. So we'll be starting with the lectures today.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Last lecture we saw different properties we saw and how we are going to set up those different properties that we saw in the last lecture. Okay. So here is something the second page which we are seeing. It is related to your numbering, okay? Numbering prefix and the naming in Tekla structures, right? So whatever element or the member which we are adding in Tekla structures, it should be named as per this criteria. Okay. So generally, what will happen? This kind of system, numbering system, might be available for different clients. Okay. They might be already having all these systems, numbering system, which we have to follow. Okay. This will generally depend on the fabricator, right? So this numbering system is basically the fabrication requirement that certain elements should have certain kind of marking system, okay, or certain kind of say I section is there, then we need certain kind of mark for that I section, okay, main mark and secondary mark, okay. So that's the reason we are seeing this chart. Okay. So you have to just memorize this chart. If you don't have any specific numbering chart given by any client, then we can follow this chart, okay, numbering system chart, right? So we'll go to Tekla. Okay, in last lecture we saw these properties, okay, display properties we saw. I think we already completed these display properties. Did I explain you this display properties? in the last lecture. We already done with this. So I think this is balanced. This part is balanced. Advanced. Okay, right. So we'll move to the advanced tab of display properties, where we can see there is one option for adding a part center line, part reference line, part label, connection text, and point size. So all these are some assistants for picking certain objects. Okay, like point, connection. This is just this is for selecting some object, or this is for referencing uh, the elements. Okay. So here you can see part center line, which refers to the center line of any part. So center line is just when you see the cross section of any part. So center line will be, say I section is there, then if it is I section, then the center line should be here. Okay, and if it is C section, then center line should come somewhere here, cross section, and angle, for angle center line will come here somewhere in between, right? And reference line can be anywhere, means anywhere on that part surface. So reference line is uh, related to the user, okay, user input. So this affects as per the user input. Okay, so this is dependent on the user input part reference line. Then we have a part label. Even this option, whichever numbering prefix we are giving, or whatever kind of material name, profile, class, all those things which we are giving in the model for certain elements. So those can be visually seen. Okay, we'll be able to see visually see those properties. Okay, these are the properties. We'll be able to see what kind of means which uh, element is having this property. Right, directly in the model you can see. So this is also quite helpful for the checker team or the QC teams, or for checking. Okay, for checking some certain objects, you can quickly check through this option. So this is very handy option or handy tool for checking the objects inside the model, or the elements inside the model. So what we have to do, we have to just tick on the label, part label, and you can see a different part. Now we don't have any part here. So in order to see any part, we need to we need to have that model. Okay, we need to have some elements in that. Then we will be able to see these labels, okay, different labels. So what I will do, I will open a different model which is already completed, and there we can see. Okay, so we have a model here now. Okay, so when I say part label, uh, part label, right? And, I have not applied any numbering yet. So we need to run the numbering tool in order to have certain numbers in place to certain elements, right? So that numbering process is not yet completed. That we complete basically after your connections are applied and all your model checking is done, 100% done. Then we are going to do the numbering. Okay, at that time. So now I will just remove this. Even if you add this assembly position, you will be able to see the assembly position, but it will give you a question mark like this because it is not defined yet, or it is not assigned. Sorry, not assigned yet. So once that numbering, once we run that numbering, and we have to run the numbering from here, drawings and report, numbering and modify objects. So that is the process for doing the numbering. Okay, once that numbering is done, then you will be able to see the numbers here, HB1, 2, 3. Sequentially, it will get numbers, right? But here we are not going to add any sequence. Okay. So here what we will do, we will add only one number, say 1. So all the series will be 1 in that certain area. Say for example, this is one, when we are dividing certain structure into small parts, okay, for a release. Say if we are not able to deliver the complete model in one go, then what happens? Then we can divide it in one structures, small structures. So that way we can target the model. Okay. Then generally it happens in many projects that we are targeting a certain model in a sequence wise, which is huge model. Okay, tonnage wise it is huge, like say 200 tons, 300, 400 tons model is there. Then that time we will be breaking up that model in small sequences. Okay. And say this is one sequence, for example, and this is one sequence. So what will happen? We will number this sequence as 1. This sequence, I know that this sequence contains 1,000 objects, right? So what I will do, I will just simply number it from 1. So this sequence numbering will start from 1 to 1,000, and it will go towards 1,000. Okay, near to 1,000, but it will not cross 1,000. I know that numbering, the numbers here are something somewhere about 800. Okay, so it doesn't process 1,000 mark. So I will keep that margin. Like for example, I will keep 1,000 limit for this, and whenever I'm numbering this portion, then I will go for 1,001. Right, this way. So this way the numbering goes. So this portion will be having 1,001 sequence. So what will happen whenever I generate drawings from this, or whenever I do the numbering for this all complete model, what will happen? This will get 1 to 1,000 numbers sequentially, right? Sequentially, this will be the first uh, area, and then later, uh, when as per this 1,001 series, this will get the numbers starting from 1,000, 1,001, 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 1,004, this way. Okay, and it goes on like this, like whichever sequence you are having. Like there are two sequences, so like that there may be 10 sequences of 1,000 members, right? 1,000 members. It can be 1,000 members. It can be 500 members. Okay, so you can divide it as per your choice. And but the numbering system should go this way. Okay, if it is a 500 sequence, then we will go for 501. If it is a 200 sequence, then 201. The next sequence will be, so this is the second sequence. So next will be 301. Next will be 400. So 100. We have kept 100 elements in a certain group. Okay. Okay, so that way we are defining the numbering here. Even you can see this kind of sequence in many residential buildings. If you go, the room numbers will be provided in this fashion: 301, 3,001. In big towers, you can see it will be 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, this way. So say if any new room is created on that floor, then they can assign the sequence in that they can consider it in that 1001 series. So that's why we are keeping this kind of series, okay, to group certain objects which are related to that area, certain area. Right? So that's how the numbering goes, and we can see what numbering we have given through this option. Right? So this option is for checking the numbering of assembly. If we want to check part position of part, then we have to modify it. Now you can see the minor mark is also there. Major mark and minor mark both are visible now. Remove the major mark, so you are able to see the minor mark now. So these are the marking systems, right? For material grade, now you'll be able to see what grade is used. You can double check S275. So same grade will be visible to you, right, in the model. So that's how we are checking. So we don't want to go here, open the properties and see. You can directly see it from here in the model directly. It is displayed. If you want to see the name, yes, you can add the name also. H brace, V brace. Right. So generally, this is used for the basic model checking. But if you have connections, you can see there are many things involved in the connection. So that's why here it will be very what do you call, uh, very clumsy here, or very much clouded with names. Right? So generally, this part or this part label will be using to check. We'll be using this option while we are having only a stick model. Right? Stick model means without connections, so that we can check this part easily in the model, right? Then we have member size. Member size also we can check from here. You can see, yes. Okay, what kind of member, name, and grade, prefix, all those things you can check. Class also we can see what kind of class is used. Generally, class we don't need to see from here what kind of class is there. By visual display only we will understand that okay, this is four class, this is four, this is three class. Okay, so this class can be identified visually directly. So, but still the option is given here. You can check, okay, from here also what kind of class is used there. Okay. So that's how we are using this option label. Okay. So I'll just remove this now. And now we have another option here, connection text. Now we'll modify, tick on this because we have connection there in this model, but we are not able to see anything right now because the connection symbol is off. Once this connection symbol is on, then you will be able to see the connection text. Yeah, so now it is visible. You can see there is a haunch connection here, end plate connection there, right? So some connections are visible now to us. Okay, so that way we need to click on this connection symbols, okay, in order to see the connection. So these are the symbols, connection symbols, which you can see round, circular symbol is here. Those are called the connection symbols. Okay, and how we see which kind of connection, we have to click on this text over here to see what kind of connection is applied in certain locations. Okay. So that was for connection, and then point size. You can see the point size also. For point size, you need to tick on the points. Right now, there is no point available, I think, in the model. We need to check in 3D. We'll open 3D view. And here you can check if point is available or not. Just add the point. Yeah, here we have one point. You can see that is a point. So if I need to enlarge that point in the model, so we'll just increase the size of the point. So now you can see, I can visually see it now. Okay, before it was 100. So when it is less in size, so we need to zoom and check the points, right? But if I give here 1,000 or 10,000, when I increase the size, you can see the points. You can easily locate them in the model. Right? So that's how it goes. Point size. So now we saw the display properties, and we saw different options how we are going to use those. Okay. Okay. Now we are going to see the next options or the next features. So next properties are the uh, beam column properties. So all these properties we are going to see now. Sorry. So here we have a column property. So this is the first element which we will be adding in the model. We will start with column, adding column, right? And then we'll add other rest of the elements in the model. There can be a case where there are no, not a single column used. Some structures are there in which we are not using a single column, but there will be only trusses, okay, truss frame, canopies. So it will depend. Uh, it is not compulsory that you should have a column in the structure, but it will depend on the design. Okay? What kind of structure we are going to design or detail in Tekla structures. So it will depend on that. But most of the cases you will have a column in the structure. Okay, so we'll start with column properties. So for column properties, here we have a steel toolbar, okay, or you can go from modeling also here. Steel parts, okay, properties, steel parts, and beam, column, all those properties are available here. So same thing, yeah, when I went here also, got this property, okay, column property. So this column property, we are going to see the first tab now, attributes tab. Okay, here we have a numbering series given here. Okay, and already I have explained you how this numbering series is applied in the model, right? So we are now clear about this numbering series, and we have a chart. And refer that charts for different kind of prefixes which we are using for different conditions. Right? So that chart is already available. You can use that chart from there, and you can assign the numbers here easily. Right? Even the names, you can go for that chart, and it will clarify you what kind of name we have to use for certain elements. Right? So this is already defined. Will not change anything. Then here, if you want to change anything here, uh, in the member size. This is a member size. Okay. Size of that member, column member. You see, 254 by 254 by 73. So this will be defined in the standard, the design standard which you receive. This will be defined there, and you can change these sizes from this button. By clicking on this button, you can go in the profile catalog. Okay, this is a profile catalog we have in Tekla structures. So whichever environment we are using, you can see here UK section is given here. So these are all the UK standard sections, European standard sections. Right? So all the standard related information is available when we are choosing a certain environment. Okay, so here I have chosen UK standard environment. Right? So that's why I'm able to see the UK sections here, UK type sections, right? UB, UC, P, PFC. These are for channel. Then these are the European sections. From here, I can choose if you want to change certain profile. Then I would have to apply here. Okay. See if I want to change it to 18. Okay. Okay. So once you apply it, you can see the profile is got applied here now. Let's say, see if I want to apply material, I have to go in the material catalog, and you will be able to see the available material sizes here. Concrete sizes are there. Okay. And then there are also listings of other different timber material. Okay. Miscellaneous, aluminum, gypsum, tile, wood. Okay. All those are available here. Materials, and we can apply it from here directly. Okay. So this material is generally for getting the weight of certain objects. If you are applying correct material, then you will be getting the correct weight of that object, right? So it is very important to apply a right material. If you are not applying a right material, then your weight might differ while you are modeling or while you are generating certain reports or generating drawing. So the listings of the weight will differ. If you are choosing wrong material, then it will be a wrong weight applied. Okay, so you should be very careful while applying this material grade. Okay, here you can see we are having a notes here in our design drawing. This is a sample design drawing, and you can see here notes. In the notes, they have given steel grades, right? All main steel should be S355 for UK standard. For US standard, it is A992, and Indian standard it is IS2062 GRA. So these are some grades which are used while modeling in different kind of environments. These are the environments, right? And this is for bolts, hollow sections. Okay, for hollow section also we have a different material grade. Okay, for say square hollow section, even this is not a complete information here. For say a hollow section like a square, we have a different kind of material grade. For a pipe, we have a different kind of material grade, right? So that we have to refer from that chart, proper chart, and it will be available in your uh, this design drawings. Okay. All this information will be available. What kind of material grade you have to use, what kind of bolt grade you have to use. So all these information will be available in your standard standard client or the standard given by the client, right? So and here there is a desperate schedule also given here. Then some abbreviations will be there. Gauge table is there. So all these informations are very important while you are modeling. So you have to go through these informations before starting your model, right? Before you are starting your model, you have to always go with this information. Just check what all contents are given and list it down. You have to list it down all those things, uh, because once you are modeling, then you can directly refer that list which you have written down. Okay, that will be easy for you. So what generally we are doing is gauge, schedule, then thicknesses, plate thickness, what kind of plate thickness is used for what kind of detail, what kind of bolt is used. So all these listings we are while modeling, we will be listing it down in your notepad or some notebook for referring, quick reference. Okay. So that's the way we are modeling or working with the models. That is a proper way of doing certain things. Right? Okay, so that was a material grade which we saw, and how we are going to apply. We have to select from here X355, apply. Okay, so it will be applied here now. Okay, that material grade is applied. Finish, in finish, I can say that different kind of paints, primer, right? So steel, for steel, if you are in the shop, what we are going to do, if you are getting some steel for certain project, if we are ordering some steel, then those steel items should be colored or primed or coated with some rust-proof paints, right? Primers. So all those things can be added in the finish here, right? So there are some certain codes which will be given in your design drawing, right? So it will be given here, or you can refer it from our standard drawing. Okay, your standard drawings might be having listing for different kind of this thing, finishes, right? Or paint preparations. Paint note will be there in your design drawing, right? So we have to apply those paint notes from there, that section. This is available in your design drawing, or there can be a manual also, design manual. So from there you can get this finish or paints. So there is quite this is also very important part. You should not miss this part. Okay, so all these boxes are really very important for you. So whenever you are modeling, you have to make sure that everything entered here is correctly entered, because once you finalize these things, then you will be modeling. You will not change anything, any other material or any other class in this. So generally, we'll be changing only this part, because say columns might be changing in different locations. So only, so once we have to finalize this part and this part, right? So that's why we need to be very precise. So if you are changing this material for certain different column, or paint note is not applied, then what will happen? It will be reworked in your uh, next task. So whenever you are generating a drawing or something like that, and you find out that paint note is missed out in certain columns, so that time there will be a rework of finding those items and then applying those finished codes, right? So that's why it has to be applied in the very first beginning of the model, right? So whenever we are setting this property, that is the time when you have to check all these things and get it done at that time only, right? So that was the attribute part which we saw, and how those are getting applied and how important it is to apply the attribute. We also saw that, and this is related to the position of certain elements, like it can be offset. You can give offset up and down. Okay, rotation can be changed. So what I will do, I will just apply a column to explain this feature. Okay, I have to apply the column. I will just add the column here. Right. So now, now that we have a column here, for applying a column, what I have done, I will just show you again. I have clicked here, create column, and just pick the point. Okay. Any point, anywhere you can pick. Right. So say I have picked point here, and when I click here, you can see there is certain length applied to this column. Okay, 7450. Okay. So that is because we have default levels here. Default levels are applied. That is the reason we are seeing certain length is applied in the model. Okay. So whenever you select certain objects, those lengths are visible. Whatever length you have set while modeling that certain element, so that length will be visible to you. Okay. So Tekla will give you that length measurement whenever you select certain element. Right? So there is that bottom level is minus 450 from 0 and plus 7000 from 0. So normally from origin, reference is from origin. Right? So always the reference will be given from the origin, and based on that criteria, the length will be decided. So whatever figures we are entering here, say this is positive 450. It is positive, so it will go in. It will go above the 0 level, and whenever we select this, the length will be reduced now. Okay, of the column. So this is also very important to understand whenever you apply certain columns. If you are not setting this properly, your column might go somewhere else. Okay, like for example, our column generally some structures might start from these levels. Okay, like this 1 lakh. Okay, so 1 lakh might be some levels for some structures like here we have 100. So this way. So this way we are entering the. So what happens when we are entering these figures? This column will go on top. Okay, it will go. It will cross the limit of this. What we call this model. Okay, this model is to this level, no? 25,000 and 1,000. So it will go above this limit which we have set. Okay, so it will be placed on the uh, top side of 1 lakh. Okay, so you will not be able to see this column here. Okay, it is gone now. You can see, applying this column here, it is gone. You will not be able to see that column unless we set the limits. Okay, so this limit should be set to the maximum, right? Then only we will be able to see the column here. So, I need to fit work area, and now you can see I will be able to see the column here. It's gone in that top level. So it is starting from there and ending there, above that, right? So that is the way we are entering the column. Okay. See, our model is starting from this limit, then